This is Caitlin and my friend Nikki over here. I think you're on that side. I think we're and we're checking in with you from Bloom Daily Planners. We're so excited to have you here. If you're watching this later on in the replay, thank you so much. We like to come live at least once a month, maybe a couple times a month, to be able to give some tips and tricks in the planning and organizing world. And we know that decluttering and organizing, it seems to be a constant battle for most of us. And we want to take some of the overwhelm out of that process and help you create a system that's going to work for you. And I have to be super honest, right? Super transparent. I am terrible at decluttering. So the idea of me trying to teach anyone how to do this would be completely laughable. So I had to bring in an expert, right? There's no point in me trying to teach you something that I'm still working on. So I grabbed Nikki. She's one of our amazing Bloom ambassadors. She has a channel called Carrie Grace, and she's going to tell us more about that. But she's going to walk us through some amazing decluttering tips and help you figure out a style of decluttering that will work for you. So Nikki, go ahead and let them know who you are and what the plan is for today.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. I'm Nicole from the channel Carrie Grace. And like she said, we're going to be talking about decluttering. So I'm going to give you 3 different styles of decluttering. We're going to kind of talk about the pros and cons of each one. And then at the end, I'm going to give you guys a decluttering challenge, and there will be a free printable. So make sure that you stay to the end so that you can get all of that information. All right, so first, before we jump into the decluttering styles, which is going to be super fun, I want to tell you that decluttering is not organizing. It's really easy to try to lump it together, but they really are 2 separate things. So decluttering is the activity of removing things that you do not need from a place in order to make it more pleasant and more useful. All right, so we're not talking about, like I said, we're not talking about organizing. We're not getting pretty bins. We're not doing all the things. We're just getting the unnecessary things out of our home.
That's the best part, is the
I know. Yes. So before we kind of jump into it, though, I want to tell you guys that I have one space in my house that it's a cabinet in my kitchen. So it's the cabinet that has all of the cups. And for whatever reason, this is the cabinet that just gets on my nerves. So I have made places in this cabinet. We have decluttered the cabinet. We have organized the cabinet. And when I say we, I mean me, because my kids don't actually care. But, I declutter the things that we don't need. And then it seems like 3 months later, they have purchased more water bottles, more coffee mugs, more whatever, and then it's a mess again. And so I'm telling you this because I want you to know that even though I'm really good at decluttering, I still have to declutter on a regular basis. It's something that you have to do consistently. It's never going to be a one and done. It's something that you will have to create a process for so that you can do it for the rest of your life, unless you just quit purchasing things ever, then maybe you won't ever have to declutter. But yeah, we all have to declutter.
And Kaylin said that her cup cabinet is a mess too. She said there's just too many lids and straws.
Yes, they multiply, I think. All right, so a couple things I want to ask you guys. Let me know in the comments. I want to know when you are most likely to declutter. So like what time of year? Do you usually like to declutter at the beginning of the year? Do you like to lump your decluttering in with your spring cleaning? Do you like to declutter over the summer? I know some people have extra time off during the summer, so it's a good time for them. But then other people, they're like, no, my kids are home. That's a terrible time to declutter. So it can kind of go either way. Are you somebody that likes to declutter when it's kind of back to school time? Maybe you like to do it right before your kids go back to school, or maybe it's right after your kids are back in school. Or do you like to declutter right before Christmas? Those are just some of the popular time. And so I'm just kind of curious. So let us know in the chat your favorite time of year to declutter.
Liz is saying end of year. She was quick. She was on
End
it.
of year? Okay.
End of year. I know for me, it's like the spring or like seasonal. I have a hard time doing it consistently, but like spring and fall, especially, it feels more natural.
Right.
Let's see. Kaylin also said spring when it's starting to warm up. Gail said just when I get frustrated. Whenever it's so bad that you just snap, right? Carrie said end of year. Hillary's saying throughout the year. That's probably the best thing to go for, right? Susan said spring, and Jen said throughout the year as things pop up. So nobody's doing it in the summer.
Okay. Just curious. All right. So I've got 3 different decluttering styles. I'm going to give you the names of them. I really wanted to come up with something that was kind of fun. And then I'm going to describe all of the styles. And that way you can kind of think about which style of decluttering you fall into. Now, I will go ahead and tell you that all 3 of these styles are very useful. And I think that probably over the course of your life and different seasons, you'll probably use all of them at some point. So we're going to go through them first, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some pros and cons and kind of break them down a little bit. All right, so the first decluttering style is called explosive. This style is for the person who thrives under pressure and doesn't mind a little chaos. It's all about the final rush of decluttering, where things get pulled out in every direction, creating a temporary but dramatic mess before order is restored. The process is fast-paced, adrenaline-fueled, and often done with a deadline in mind, like a guest arriving or a sudden inspiration to get things in shape. And when I was trying to come up with a name for this, all I could picture is I've definitely, done it this way. Usually it's like that urge, and it can be an inspiration or an urge. You can call it either one, but it comes on all of a sudden, and it's like you have to do it right then or you're going to explode. And then once you do the thing, your house looks like a bomb has gone off because things are everywhere.
Yep.
All right, so that's the first style, explosive. All right, let's go on to the second one. The second one is calculated. This decluttering style is about precision, organization, and efficiency. The person adopting this style carefully plans their decluttering process, evaluates each room, their available time, and their energy levels to optimize the task at hand. There's no rush or impulsiveness. Everything is laid out with intention. Lists, schedules, timelines, all of these things are going to help the decluttering journey. So does anybody feel automatically like they fall into that category?
That sounds way too calm for me.
All right, so the third decluttering style is called sustained. This decluttering style focuses on regular, small efforts to maintain a tidy environment. The person is careful not to overwhelm themselves by focusing on tiny spaces, whether it's a drawer, a shelf, or a small corner, just one at a time. By setting aside just 15 minutes here and there, they stay ahead of clutter without feeling the stress of the big overwhelm. It's about balancing the desire for order with a healthy, sustainable pace. So what do you guys think about that?
I'm not seeing any comments, but hopefully.
Okay. That's fine. I just wanted to pause
Okay.
for a minute just in case.
Jen said she thinks that's her.
The sustained, because I think you said that you like to do a little bit at a time kind of throughout the year.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sounds like me and Jen are opposites.
Well, and the thing I was thinking about when I was, kind of figuring these out and kind of breaking them down is I was looking at my own life and I realized that most of the time I'm doing a variation of one of these. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. I can definitely be very explosive. There's other times where I'm really calculated about it.
There you are.
Am I back?
Yep,
I'm not
you're
sure what
back.
happened. So anyway, what I was saying, I'm not sure where it cut off, but I definitely fall into all three of these categories at different times, kind of depending on what's going on. All right, so let's talk about the explosive style just a little bit. All right, so basically you're going to go through whatever area it is. It could be a room or it could be your entire house. And you're going to take everything out and you're not really going to think about organizing at all. You're just creating piles all over the place and it's just a mess. And you're having to do this very quickly. The good thing about this, though, is you're going to have some instant relief because you're doing this just real fast paced. And then when you're done, you're done. The con to this, though, is that you have to finish once you've started, or you are going to be living in a mess. So how many times have you pulled everything out? World, did I decide to do this today? Because now I don't have the energy to do this, and it was a bad idea.
Yep.
So tell me if you can relate.
Yeah, Susan said, I'm explosive. It's fun and challenging.
Yes.
That's me though. It's like I'm racing the clock because I know in that moment that I have all of the motivation to do it right now, but eventually it's going to run out. And then, like you said, then we're just left hanging. So it's like, how can I possibly get it done as fast as possible before I burn out?
Yeah. That's why if you're going to do it when it strikes. Don't wait. Do it when the motivation strikes, for sure. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about calculated. Actually, let's go back to explosive for just a minute. I got lost on my notes. I think a lot of times for us, though, when we are doing the explosive type of decluttering, a lot of times it can be driven by stress. It's because, this thing, this area, this whatever is stressing you out and you're realizing it. Or it can even be that, like you got somebody coming to stay at your house and you found out about it much later than you would have liked to have found out about it. And it said like, oh, my mom's coming to stay with me for a week. I should probably declutter my house. So a lot of times it can be stressful. All right. So let's talk about the person that likes to be more of a calculated declutterer. All right. So if you like to be calculated when it comes to decluttering, you are going to probably do some strategic planning. You're going to have a list. You're going to have probably lists for your lists. You're going to have a list for each room. You're going to be setting goals for each one and deciding in advance how much time you want to spend on a task. Right now, I'm currently going through a decluttering challenge from A Bowl Full of Lemons. This year, at the beginning of the year, I made a very spontaneous decision that I was just going to do some decluttering, but I wanted it to be like planned out and calculated, but I didn't want to be the one that was going to plan it out and calculate it. And so when she posted the challenge, I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to do that because it's already laid out. She's already done all of the work. She's going to tell me how much time I have to do this challenge, and I can just do it. So even if you're not a super calculated person, if you look around on the internet, there are lots of people that are, and they create challenges that make it easy for you to follow along. So I just want to kind of put that out there. My response was explosive, but I am taking the calculated approach to it this time. The good thing about it too, when you do this, I found that for me, especially as, I don't know, I'm 45 now, and I have to watch my energy levels a little more than I used to. And I also have to really think about like the time of year it is. I really have to think about, what kind of activities we have going on. I have to think about, when my kids need me more, because they need me to be their taxi for everything. So these are things that you want to calculate and think about when you're decluttering. Don't decide that you need to, declutter your whole house if it's one of those months where you've got a baseball player that's on a travel ball team and you're not going to be at home at all. So you have to really think about those things. The other thing that you're going to do if you're a very calculated person that likes to declutter, you are going to really define your goals. So it could be like, I'm going to organize the closet by color, but I'm only going to give myself 15 minutes. So it doesn't have to be like a really long drawn out process, but you're going to define the things. You're going to define the area, you're going to define the time, and then you're going to define what you're actually going to be doing. And the thing about this is you could calculate all of this and plan all of this out, and you could do it over an entire year. It's not like you have to do it very quickly. You can give yourself lots of time. But then if you're somebody that really needs things to move at a faster pace, you can just decide, hey, I'm going to do all of this stuff in a quarter or a month or whatever it is. But the biggest thing is you're really looking at your surroundings and just all of the things in your life and making sure that you are fitting it in to your life. All right. So now let's talk about sustained. And this is the one where you're really just focusing on really small areas a little bit at a time. And a lot of people associate this with somebody that has already decluttered their home. And it can be. But I have found that anytime you do something repeatedly over and over and over and are very consistent with it, even if you have a very decluttered home, if you make the choice, hey, I'm going to spend 15 minutes every single day decluttering, you're going to make you're going to make progress. The process will give you progress. So I don't want you to think that this is just for those that have already done the big decluttering. Sustained decluttering can come after you've had an explosive decluttering session, but it can also just be the only way that you declutter, and that's okay too. I know for a lot of people, especially if you have just a really busy lifestyle, maybe you just don't have time to dedicate a weekend or even a whole day to decluttering something. Most people do have 15 minutes, even if it's, 3 or 4 days a week. It doesn't have to be 7 days a week. But if you can consistently dedicate a little bit of time and just kind of do things one bite at a time, you really are going to make a lot of progress. The other thing about doing it this sustained way is it's very low stress. You are not pulling everything out of a closet. Your bedroom isn't going to be covered in all of your clothes. You're going to just do your sock drawer. And so it's just the stress level with that is a lot lower. The other thing is that when you focus on just doing this consistently, you're really thinking about like your long-term focus. So it's a lot easier, I think, when you do it this way to not let things pile up because you are doing it consistently. I think it makes you think more about what you're actually bringing in your home. And if it's something that's really important, something that you want to keep, or is it something that you just are going to want to throw away in 6 months? All right. I went through that a whole lot faster than I thought I was going to.
You're good. We do have a great question came in from Megan.
Okay, good.
So she said, as an artist, I find it hard to stay organized because I work better in chaos. That's how my brain works. I just know it drives my husband crazy. Do you have any suggestions or resources for artists?
Okay. I'm not an artist, but I am very creative, so I totally understand this. I think that the way I've had to approach that is like for me personally, and you're going to have to find what works for you. But I think that if you can keep your stuff contained to an area and just maybe one area, like your work area, and just let him know, you know what? This is my space. This is how I work. This is how I'm able to work well, but then not let it spill over into all of the areas where maybe he's trying to relax or he's trying to do something else. I think sometimes that can be really helpful. I was just looking at my office. Most of my house is very decluttered and organized and put together, unless you walk in my office. When you walk in my office, it looks like a third grader was in here playing with planners. There's markers, there's stickers, there's stacks, there's things. And that's really how I work. I need all of the things as well. The other thing that I do, though, is at the end of the week, I try to make sure that I have a specific time where it's like, okay, I have worked, I've done all my things. Now I need to clean up so that I can kind of get everything back to normal. And then we will make another mess on Monday. So maybe that'll help. Kind of try to keep it contained to a specific area. And then also setting some times aside where you know that you're going to go in and really clean everything back up and declutter so that you are starting with a fresh space again.
One thing I found too that helps, because I also do like paper crafts and stuff like that. And I am my craft table is like in a hallway. So I also have like that shared space situation. And so one of the decluttering things I heard from someone was like, put clothes that you love, but you don't think you wear, put them in the back of the closet or something. And if you, after 6 months or however long you're going to give yourself, if they're still back there, then it's time to say goodbye, because if you really love them, you would have made the effort to wear them and bring them back to the front of the closet. So I do that with like my inks and some of my other craft supplies, like art supplies, where I know I have my like go-to. So I use a lot of like stacking bins. So I'll put things that I'm like, no, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it in the bottom bin. And every like couple months I'll look. And if stuff's been in there and I didn't even remember that it was in there, then I don't need it. And that's one less thing that I have to worry about. And so it's easier than to clean up when the chaos is over. But for decluttering stuff, it's so hard for craft and art supplies. But that's just one little thing I've figured out helps me say goodbye with less guilt.
Yes, I like to call that a quarantine bin.
Yes.
Put your stuff in quarantine.
Yep.
And then it gets to come out if you really need it. But if you don't need it, then it's time to let it go.
Yeah.
I like to do that sometimes, especially with clothes. I don't know. Sometimes I'll just get on a kick where I'm buying clothes and it's like, why am I buying this stuff? I have like 3 shirts that I really like to wear. And so I will put things in a bin in my closet. And if it's still there, in 6 months, it's got to go. So that is a great tip. And you can use that in any area of your home. It can be in your bedroom, in your craft room, in your kitchen. Sometimes I do it with appliances because I am one of those people that I want very minimal things in my kitchen because I want to be able to open my kitchen cabinet and grab what I need. I don't want to have to sift through 6 things that I don't use to get to what I do need. Now, there are other people in my home that I will not name that do not mind that. They love it. Like they like all the stuff. And so we actually have a cabinet in our house that is not my cabinet. Like I just let them put their stuff in there all willy-nilly however they want, and then I'm not going to open that cabinet. It's really just a shelf on the cabinet. It's not a whole cabinet. But sometimes you have to do that. So especially if you are a person that likes things very decluttered and very organized, but you live with somebody that isn't that way, sometimes you just have to make compromises. You have to be like, okay, this is their space. Let them use this space however they want. And then you keep your space decluttered and clean. But like in the kitchen, I don't like to have all of the extra appliances and things that you use just one time, because I want to just put my hand in there, grab the thing, and not have to dig. So that is why I like to declutter. It's because I need things to be simple, because if it's not simple, I'm not going to put it away. But if it's simple, I will put it away and then not have a mess.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's the other trick I've learned for myself. A lot of, I've taken other courses and things where they talk about organizing to find things. And I try to take an approach of decluttering and organizing so that it's the easiest possible to put it away. Because if I want to go do something or make something, I'm more likely to have the motivation to go find it. So if it means I'm like digging through like a stack of things, I'll take the time to find it. But if it's time to put it away and it's like in a bin, under a shelf, tucked in the back, it's never going to go back there. I'm going to throw it on top and I'm going to walk away. So it's like trying to figure out how your mind works for if it needs to be so that you can easily go grab it and find it, or if it's easier to put away, or if you can hit the magic special unicorn spot where it's both. I haven't mastered that part yet, but
yeah, that's good. The other thing that I like to do is when it comes to sentimental items that are hard to declutter, like some things are easy to declutter. Like sometimes clothes can be easy to declutter and, just random things. But then you have like pictures or, like maybe if you have a family member that has passed away and you have some of their stuff. I remember when my mom passed away, I don't remember. It's been like 12 or 13 years ago now. When she passed away, like I wanted all of her stuff and I kept all of the things. And then, each year I've been able to let go of more and more and more. So, if you have a lot of things and they're sentimental, it's okay to give yourself some grace and give yourself some time, whatever the situation is, even if it wasn't like a death or something like that. Maybe it's just something that you just really like and it just brings you a lot of joy and you have a lot of memories and you want to hang on to those memories. Sometimes just giving yourself some time will help. And then you will find that, maybe a couple years will go by and you're like, I really can just hang on to the memory of whatever this thing is. And I don't actually need the thing because I don't use the thing. It's in the back of a closet. It's not being utilized. It's not, something that I even look at. It's just there. And so I just know that sometimes sentimental things can be really, really hard for people. And then when they get to that spot, they just kind of quit decluttering altogether because they just kind of hit a wall. Okay, so I see she's saying baby clothes.
Clothes, yeah.
Yeah, totally get that for sure. Yep. Another thing you can do with items that are sentimental and things that are hard to let go of, sometimes you can just take pictures of things. Like if you have a kid maybe that has a ton of trophies or something because they were involved in something, and now this child is 25 and
just perhaps if that was the situation.
Just perhaps. It is not the situation at my house.
Hypothetical.
But It was actually my husband when we got married, like almost 30 years ago. So he had all of these trophies and he wanted to keep them. And I was like, but we're not going to display them anywhere. So, and it can be a kid, it can be any kind of thing. Sometimes if you can just take a picture of something, then you have the picture and the memory of the thing. And at that point, it really does become easier to let go of the thing. I am definitely a firm believer, though, in being a sustained declutterer. I really feel like for me, over the years, I've kind of done all the things, and I'm finally to the point where I've been able to really make decluttering a habit, and just doing it a little at a time works really well for me. But again, you have to know what your style is and what's going to work for you, because we're all different.
I feel like it's kind of tied to like the season of life you're in too, right? Like when you have younger kids or busier schedules, or like if you're fresh out of college and like new job, sometimes some things have to take a back seat. And I feel like decluttering and to like organizing, like it was a miracle when my babies were babies to like clean the kitchen counters well, like let alone declutter the cup cabinet. Like that was not going to happen. So I feel like that goes into what you're saying, like giving yourself some grace too, that like if you know you're explosive and that overly stresses you, any little things, steps that you're doing to get you closer to calculated or sustained, if that's what you want, if you see that and you hear that and you're like, that's where I want to be, any little movement towards that has to feel like a victory, right?
Yes, absolutely. I know I've got some people in my Facebook group that are new moms, and I want to say last year she had a new baby, and she was just really struggling because it was like she wasn't able to deep clean and declutter and do all these things. And I'm like, you're not supposed to be doing any of that right now. You have a new baby. You are just supposed to be loving on that baby. All of these other things will happen at another point in life, but it's not the priority right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
We have never been a family or a couple that's had like enough money to bring in help. If that's true for anyone out there watching, I'm jealous.
Yes.
But I was surprised when my daughter was like 6 weeks old. My husband has family that have like a cleaning service, and they had like offered. So we went out to like the park or something for a couple hours, and they came and deep cleaned. And it's like, even if you can save up for that, like one, or if you need a gift for like a new mom and you're not sure because you don't want to get her more stuff, just having somebody come in and like mop the floor so that I didn't have to do it was amazing.
Yes. That'd be a good gift now.
Right? Yeah.
And I clean for YouTube. I would still appreciate that gift.
Hey, can you do a time lapse of somebody else cleaning your floors?
I would probably have to sign some kind of waiver for that to happen. All right, so I have a couple other questions for you guys. So when you declutter, what do you do with your stuff? Do you A, let it sit in the back of your trunk for a month? B, do you take it initially to whatever drop-off place and donation place you like to take it to right away? Or C, I've got something in my eye. Do you take the time to list things like on Facebook Marketplace or have a yard sale or things like that? Let me know which is your go-to. What do you like to do, Caitlin?
So it depends on what it is, right? If it's, I graduated college with 4 roommates. We were all together all 4 years, and I have the oldest kids out of all of us. So I have a bin of clothes that are for Julia, and it's like little baby Julia gets all of our hand-me-downs. So like when I declutter the kids' dressers with them, and I make them do it with me, I make them be a part of it because it's their stuff. So I have some things that go in the bin just with the understanding my husband gets it, that the bin will just continue to grow until I see them and I get to hand them off. And if it's my clothes, it will sit in the back of my trunk for 6 months until I have to travel somewhere and put things actually that need to be in the trunk, and then I have to stop and drop them somewhere. But if it's like art supplies or like craft things that I've invested in, that's the one thing that I will try to recoup some of my money, and I'll list them in different Facebook groups that I'm in. Like I do stamping, and there's so many stamps and dies that I might have used just a couple times, but I can get half my money back, and then someone else who really wanted it saves 50%, and we kind of both win. That's like the one thing that I'll try to sell. But I can't do like the Depop or whatever selling clothes of mine. I could care less. They'll just rot in my trunk. It's fine.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, it's another thing where you have to kind of know what stage of life you're in. I know some people like to, sell their clothes so that they can purchase new clothes. Some people like to, like you were talking about, things that you've invested in, try to get their money back. I try to think about things. The way that I do it personally is a lot of times it's like home decor and just, random things like that. I think, is this something that I would actually be looking for on Facebook Marketplace? Like, is it something that would be worth my time to try to find? And if it is, then it's something that I will usually list. Otherwise, it's got to get dropped off.
Yeah. So yeah, Gail said she likes to offer to friends and family, which I also think
is a good one.
And then it sits for a while till she drops it off.
Yes.
She will be mad I said this, but this is my mom, and she loves a donation pickup. She's got like all of the like lupus and the veterans. She's got all these different places where you just put the bags out front and they come pick them up. And that's like the smartest thing, because then they never sit and rot in her trunk. She's on.
That's a smart lady.
Yeah.
For sure.
And she doesn't have to worry about picking anything up either.
Nope.
So Susan said, keep, toss, donate, which I've seen people declutter with like those in mind, right? Like a keep basket to take things upstairs or whatever, a gloss trash bag, and then like a donate cardboard box, and you just declutter that way as like a system.
Yep.
Let's see. Anisha said we listen and we don't judge.
Yes.
She puts it in the closet, and then it ends up in the garage, and then it goes in the basement. So her stuff just gets shifted around, it sounds like. And Jen said donate or yard sales, which I thought that was an interesting one, kind of a unique one. Hillary saying it usually ends up in the garbage. Oh no, in the garage. Fair enough, in the garage. So people's garages and basements are full.
Yep.
Sounds like, and trunks. I donate clothes and I sell other stuff. Yeah. So a good mix, it looks like. We're kind of all over the place.
All right. So we're going to do a decluttering challenge. I have got a free printable that is available. Caitlin's going to put it up here on the screen so you can see it. And then there is a link so that you can grab this. And this is going to fall under the category of sustained decluttering, because we're going to do little micro things. We don't want this to be hard. So this is just a free printable that you can grab. And then there is a hashtag, and I can't remember the hashtag right this minute, but I know Caitlin has it. And anytime that you do one of these things, if you want to post it on Instagram, you don't have to, like if that's not your thing, but if you like to post things on Instagram, if it helps motivate you, go ahead and post it on Instagram with this hashtag, and then I can see it and then reshare it. And the more of you that are doing this, and if I'm sharing it, hopefully it will help motivate more of you to do this. So I just want to remind you that as you're doing these little challenges, though, be proud of yourself for every single one. Like, Don't wait to be proud till you have done a whole row or the whole card. Be proud for every one of these that you mark off, because these are all wins. If you do any of these, it's a win.
I love this.
Yes.
I like gamifying things in general. It makes it
Yes.
a lot more, it makes you feel like it's fun, even if it's not actually fun.
Yeah. I mean, decluttering is just never actually fun. Even people that like to declutter, it's still not fun. It's work because you are constantly having to make it feels like a million decisions, even just holding one thing. It's like, do I like this? Am I going to use it again? All the things. And so it can be exhausting. But it's something that we all have to do, because if we don't ever do it, we end up in a home where things are just we feel crowded. It's harder for us to relax because we end up just focusing on all the things, and you see the things that you need to be handling and need to be taking care of instead of actually relaxing. So it's good for you. It's really good for your health to declutter because it helps you feel more peaceful in your home, which is a good thing. We want to be at home and feel at peace in our homes. So I wanted to show you guys a couple of things that I like to do in my planner for decluttering. Bloom has the household chore sticker pack, which is one of my favorites. I love these little vacuums. I think this is the sticker that I use the most, either the vacuum or the little spray bottle. I just like to stick those in my planner just to kind of remind me, hey, you need to do this little thing. And there are boxes on here that say donate. So when you go through and you get a box or you have a bag that you need to donate, you can use this sticker and it will help you not keep that thing in the back of your car for 6 months, Caitlin.
I need the sticker to actually drive my stuff to the drop-off center is the problem.
Yes. But this is your reminder. We have a sticker for that. And then the other one that I really like in this pack, there's a sheet that you can write on. And half of the stickers say clean, and then there is a place for you to write something that you're going to clean. And then the other half says declutter. And these are great reminders, especially if you're somebody that is, more of a calculated person and you like to, sit down and plan out all of the things that you're going to declutter. You can sit down at the beginning of the month and say, hey, this week I'm going to declutter this. Next week I'm going to declutter this. So these just make it really simple. You don't have to have, you don't have to make it complicated. You don't have to have a plan that is extravagant. You can make a simple plan with just a sticker, and it will help you stay on track. So yeah, get the stickers.
I was going to say too, we've talked a lot in January about printing out things or customizing your planner so it works for you. So this is a different bingo that we had made for 2025, but the same idea. You could take Nikki's printable and put it right in the front of your planner. So even if it's once a week, right, that you'll still get them all by the end of the year. It doesn't have to be like a 15-day challenge, like whatever's going to work for you. But if it's with you every day, it's going to be a lot easier for you to keep it top of mind than if it's one more paper that gets thrown into the pile on the kitchen table and then becomes part of the decluttering problem.
Absolutely. If it's not in my planner, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to think about it. I have to put it in my planner. So yes, I print out lots of things and put them in there.
Yeah. Your ultimate planner has to be like fully customized and tricked out at this point.
It is. It definitely is, for sure.
Do you want to let everybody know more about your Facebook group too, in case anybody wants to jump in over there and hang out with you and get some more tips over there?
Yeah. Okay, so I have a Facebook group, and I can't remember the name of it right this second. It's
Put you on the spot.
It's because I changed the name. Let me see real quick. It's Carrie Gray's Homemaking Motivation and Accountability. I have done a few challenges in the group before. It really mostly, though, is just a place for you to kind of connect with other people that enjoy homemaking and decluttering and cleaning and things like that. It's a space where you can just bounce ideas off of each other, you can encourage each other, things like that. I will tell you that I go through phases where I am able to be super active in there and I ask lots of questions. It's also the first group I go to if I'm looking for like feedback on things. Sometimes, I'm asking, hey, what kind of videos do you guys really want to see? And these are the people that I ask first. So if you want input on the kind of videos that end up on my channel, definitely join my group. And then when I'm going through a super busy season in life, this is also the place where I slack the most. So it doesn't mean that I have forgotten about you or that I don't care that you're wanting to clean something anymore. It's just the thing that I have to do. But right now I am getting back to being more active in my own group. But it's great though, because there's a lot of ladies in there. They're all super nice and they ask each other questions and help each other. So it's great. So yeah, it's the first place though that I ask for questions and post links and things like that though.
Yeah, I put a link to the group in the comments for Facebook and YouTube. So if you want,
and it's a private group, so you'll have to ask to be accepted, but I will accept you. So I just do that so that people can comfortably post whatever they want to in there and not feel like everybody that they know can see, things that they're sharing. But yeah, it's a fun group. So right now on my channel, I'm currently going through some decluttering. I am going through my whole house. I am on week, I think 7. I think I've been decluttering for 7 weeks now, all the different places. This next week, I'm going to be decluttering my master closet, and I'm not excited about it. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull everything out and we're going to declutter and I'm going to show it to you guys. So you guys need some motivation. Some people like to just watch other people declutter while they're decluttering. And so that's kind of what those videos are for. But yeah, on my channel, we do it all. We declutter and clean and organize and plan and all of those things.
Yep. And Nikki's channel is tagged down in the description wherever you're watching as well. And you can always come hang out with us in our Bloom community. That's also private, but a free community. You can come join. The link for that's in the description too. We love having you over there. Nikki's popping in there all the time, leaving inspiration and comments for us too. But I'm really excited because look how cute Anisha said. Now I'm actually excited for spring cleaning.
So declutter first.
Yeah, that's the trick, right? You have to declutter first, and then you can work on organizing and cleaning once you actually have room to move.
Yes, it will make your spring cleaning go much smoother.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I just want to do it all at once and have it all just be done.
Yeah, we all do, but.
And then never do it ever again.
That's the dream.
Yeah. But with kids, that's never an option.
No, not at all.
All right. Not at all. Before we close out, if anybody has any other questions, go ahead and drop those in the comments for us. But yeah, I'm curious, Nikki, besides your office, right? Because I feel like we all have an office or an art space or a craft, like something like that we can relate to. But besides that, what is like your absolute least favorite spot to declutter in your house? Like if there's one thing where you're like, ugh, what's that spot?
Probably my closet.
The closet.
Yeah.
I feel like mine's under the bathroom sink.
Yeah, well, I have a really small cabinet under my bathroom sink, so there's just not room for a lot.
Yeah.
But My closet is my least favorite because it is a shared closet with my husband. We have had all different size closets over the years. We've had separate closets. We've had tiny closets, big closets, all the things. And right now we share a closet, and he likes lots of things and I like less things. And there's not really like a way to divide things well in this closet. But it's okay. It's his stuff. I don't mess with his stuff. But I am going to be pulling it all out of the closet though, and you'll get to see it next week. And I'm going to put it back, but I've got to be able to clean around it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, probably my closet. And the reason is because I just have a lot of stuff in my closet that I wish it didn't have to go in my closet, but that's the only place for it to go.
Yeah.
So I have like a corner that just, I don't know. So yeah.
Like that catch-all space, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Amanda said hers is the kids' playroom. I feel like it would be for the same thing, right? Like it's very daunting. There's probably a lot of stuff. And depending on the age, they're either not helpful because they can't be, or they're not helpful because they don't want you to get rid of their stuff.
Yep.
Carrie said her basement. I feel like that's the one for me too. We have like a unfinished basement, so I really don't like to go down there to declutter, but that's where all the holiday decorations live. I probably should declutter them more often. Let's see. Megan said her master closet too, and it's all her stuff. She doesn't want to declutter it. So you're not alone in your closet.
No.
Struggle.
And I think it's also because it's where I struggle the most. Like I don't know, sometimes when you've been a lot of different sizes and weight fluctuates, sometimes it can be really hard to let go of things, especially like if you paid a lot of money for them. But you just have to decide, like, is it something that I'm really going to wear? Even if I get back down to that size, am I really going to wear it, or am I going to want something new? And so you just have to be real with yourself. And that's hard. So it's hard, but we all have to do it. So yeah.
All right. Well, I think that sums it up for us. I do want to remind you guys, if you're interested in the free decluttering bingo printable that Nikki made, it's linked down in the description wherever you're watching. So you can go ahead and print that out and join her challenge. I'll add the hashtag to the description as well right after this. But I'll pop it up one more time here and we can say it out loud. It's hashtag Carrie Grace Bingo Decluttering Challenge. But I'll add it into the description too for you guys. But yeah, just so that you can see what everybody else is up to, maybe motivate someone else. I know it's always easier for me if I'm feeling overwhelmed to see someone else kicking butt, and then it makes me feel like I can probably do it too. I watch your videos, Nikki, while I'm doing dishes because I'm like, she's cleaning, I'm cleaning. Yep. We're in this together. It's not just me. So yeah, thank you so much for helping us, hanging out with us, and teaching us all of your decluttering ways. But I also really enjoy hearing the parts that you don't like, because again, that just makes it more real. It's not this, there's just one decluttering queen out there that's just killing it. Like you said, even people who declutter professionally, it's work. It's not fun. So if it doesn't feel fun for us, it's okay.
Yep, that's right. Well, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. Again, if you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments. I want to know what your decluttering style is. I just think it's fun to know because everybody's so different.
Yep. Everybody leave us the comments.
Yes.
Gail, I will put a link. There's a link in the description, but I'll make sure that it gets added into the comments here when we're done too for you for that printable. So, all right, that's going to finish it up for us. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Give this a thumbs up if you can, if you're feeling happy about it. Make sure that you're subscribed to our channel as well as Nikki's. It's tagged in the description. Carrie Grace on YouTube. She's got amazing content going up multiple times a week. So go support her over there. hang out in both of our communities. There's lots of ways to stay in touch with us, and we will see you guys soon. Have a great weekend, and thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.